Dear Diary, I have been in Midgard for about 3 hours, and I have come to one conclusion. It's a shithole!
At least she's not having internal thoughts like Cloud.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yuffie decides not. Yeah, basically, yeah, she's Yuffie. Doing stuff innerly is not her style.
I mean, I feel like we're playing to you, but I have to wait till the following cutscene.
Also, that would imply Yuffie has enough, time and brain capacity to think for a sec, to stop and think about the situation.
Translation: I'm the bigger man and don't whop in on Dwibs' territory.
Well, Theo, that's what the upcoming character is for, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's enough recon. Hello there.
And who you might be.
Ah, there you are.
Gotta love how they even programmed that in real time for his model to come slightly down to trigger the cutscene.
So let me check who actually voices him.
Just thinking how you're nothing like your old man.
So, this is Sonon, a character that Pedro likes enough to have requested to voice.
And mind you, completely original. He's not even in one of the novels.
He's gonna...
Yeah, that's the thing, Joe. But from the first try, I was like, yeah, these guys, he has that written all over his face.
Like, look. I know that this is pretty much a sequel where most people are gonna get to live, but my dude, you are the new character who is meant to die.
You don't have to worry, boss. I'm totally on the level.
Speaking of drinking, you been to the Happy Turtle? If you're part of
this is your new boss, Sonon.
You're not a true Wutaian.
Don't worry, I can do adult
16,
stuff just fine.
you can't.
How can you say no to that face, Dwibs?
Not for nothing, boss, but you're committed. You're calling on a no true Wutaian fans.
At any rate,
wow, imagine Yuffie being your new boss.
That's the thing about Sonon, despite him not really having enough patience to take Yuffie shit, he's still very loyal just because of his status.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you too. I find him to be very patient, honestly.
No, that's the thing. That doesn't mean he has to enjoy that.
Having patience and enjoying it, those are separate things.
So is this like one of those? Is this one of those scenarios where, yeah, technically Yuffie's the boss, but let's be honest, Sonon's the one who's running things.
Pretty much.
More so that Sonon is a bodyguard of sorts.
Again, though, like Yuffie being
the real brain.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Need to scope out the
it's not. Well, okay. How about this? It's not like Sonon is a genius eater.
Okay. Let me put it like this.
Comes up with better tactical plans when you feel. I just say that.
Let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. I'm guessing it's something like. Let me guess. It's gonna be something like Overlord, where all of the main protagonist's subjects constantly praise him for being such a smart guy who comes up with insert plan here, which, yeah, the boss just goes along with, when in reality it's kind of them manipulating him.
Yep.
Alright, Sonon Kusakabe. IMDb lists only the Japanese voice actor, so let me save the wiki instead. And something more. I distinctly remember in interviews they did mention the English voice actor, so...
I was just surprised he wasn't voiced by Matthew Mercer.
I get it, yeah, I think Matt Mercer was among the... No, wait, didn't he voice another particular... Oh no, actually, Alex Lee is the English voice actor, but is of Asian ethnicity. Alright then, let me check his filmography, his pedigree then.
I'm so curious.
Okay, he voices someone in Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. I think it's the player character in Astral Chain. Part of additional voices in Ryan Lost Dragon. He's mostly done TV and video game stuff. Only occasionally a movie or two.
You guys all set? Okay, streets are kind of a maze, so stay close.
I'm guessing Sonon's your favorite new character introduced in this
There's
page,
no way to
right?
get topside without him.
Yes.
But I thought TJ
I mean,
was
there
gonna
aren't
be
much.
What happened with that?
Not being so detrimental or anything. It's just that, you know.
One ID, or even
Let me put it
two
this way, Jova.
survivors.
Like, this
forget,
game,
Midgard
this
was built
the
by
storyline
Shinra
told in this
for Shinra.
DLC is just as much Sonon's story as Yuffie's, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's gonna be so sad when he dies.
Whoa.
Okay, I can tell you this, Jova, without spoiling. The game plays around with the concepts. It's not as even if it's telegraphed as me and you have guessed already. It's not as obvious. Also, get away, cat.
Also, seriously, Nio just pushed that cat around digitally.
Out of
He
the
sent
way,
it
peasant.
sliding at a 90-degree
Rude.
angle, like a
You're
digital
actually saying
being.
you like it here?
By the way, boss, you know, it's a good day out there. Doesn't it make you so happy to be alive, boss?
Yeah, I know.
What's that stuff on the news?
It is so great being alive. It would be I'm just so grateful that I get to, you know, go on this mission. And after that, we can go back to Wutaian party.
Who are those three guys over
They
there?
used to be with Avalanche.
They're not important. Don't worry.
Policy dispute.
Wow, look who it is. Loving your work. So how many reactors is that now? Wait, where's Cloud?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Barrett actually seems sad about that.
He will be okay though.
Well, obviously, Joey, you wouldn't show it when Cloud is around, would it?
Remember, it is such a tsundere.
Well, he wasn't wrong about that.
See, he actually cares.
Yeah.
You know, Tifa, the next time you may see him, it can be anywhere. Back at the bar, in a cross-dressing scenario or something, but what are the chances of that latter one?
Barrett.
Yeah, there's also the fact that President Shinra has landed Avalanche into working for Wutai.
Great, nailed. Thank you. Moving on.
Speaking of
Which is ironic, because now Avalanche technically are kind of working for Wutai.
Okay, again, while not expanding it much like we probably wanted, this takes a bit of a concept that developers did mention. Originally, there was supposed to be an extra side chapters where you were supposed to control Tifa, which would have taken place around this time and would have explained how she got into Don Corneo's mansion from her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well get some rest.
And it's nice that they at very least expanded a bit onto this.
So Tia, what do you think of the irony that Shinra were technically telling the truth about Avalanche working for Wutai, seeing as though...
Notice this particular detail here.
You know what? I think I am gonna look
So yeah,
into
Tifa
this.
is indeed going to look into what Don Corneo's men want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she ends up in a carriage.
Yeah, nice context there. Nice. Boss, I
They're the
feel
ones
like
who blew up
these
the
characters are a
reactors.
bit suspicious.
They're technically a part of your organization.
No.
They seem friendly enough.
Gotta assume Shinra's on
But
their
let's
team.
not bother them right now.
Yeah, again, there's also the fact that Shinra has just, muddied up the water with that. And to answer your question, Jova, yes and no. Like, okay, it also all connects to the entirety of Before Crisis, where the actual main Avalanche bulk does not work for Wutai, it's still on their own, though they do have principles, but they're just much more violent
Oh,
than
obviously
what
I
the
get
Bears
that.
Group
What I
Block
mean is
tends
like,
to
well,
do.
what I mean is that thanks to the situation with Yuffie, a subsection of Avalanche technically are working for Wutai.
Kinda, pretty much. If anything, that was the message of the original game, that at the end of the day, it was the Coteris group that was comprised from people from all over the world, at the end of the day, fighting for a common cause.
Build a brighter future. That's all there is to it.
In other words,
That's another thing that, in hindsight, Final Fantasy VIII did not manage to get right, the fact that you formed the entirety of your party very early on, and without even traverse much of a world, meaning that, it still loses a bit of its meaning.
Oops, I'm sorry, can't talk to you.
So, what exactly does
Yeah,
this
seriously, this ultimate materia sounds a little too good to be true, if you ask me.
Like after we steal
It's actually really
well, the
cool
more
now.
materia
Like,
you
see,
have,
it
the
summons
stronger
these
you are, right?
13 knights.
So once we've got the ultimate materia, will be stronger than anyone.
It's not even. It's okay. Nayo, it's not even just that. It's just a matter of principle that if we steal it from Shinra, they do not have it. That's the advantage.
By sneaking into Shinra HQ and
I'm actually wondering too if they have the balls to put Knights of the Round in use at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
Why
It's just
not?
it's probably gonna work in a different way.
That's the thing, Joe, but the primary iconic thing about that too is that it's broken as all fuck.
Well, wasn't the idea with it in the original cycle you had to work extremely hard to get? Oh, you guys again.
Those are some next-gen rands.
Guys, Tio. Those are the guys who sick a
I remember the guy on the front, not the one with the dreads.
So yeah, these guys. Okay. Not that it's.
Yuffie,
You're 16.
Exactly. You know what? Honestly, kudos to these guys for at least recognizing too young means illegal.
Not that what they're doing in this case is much better.
Oh, it's an influencer.
I'm actually surprised that they.
From what Yakuza game did these guys come out?
Honestly,
Quickly, get a bicycle and smash it on top of his head.
You know, honestly, the ironic thing is that, actually, if anything, Yuffie apparently suits Don Corneo's taste if the original 7 is anything to go off of.
Well, remember, by that point he was very desperate. And the other alternative was Elena, which was actually older than Yuffie.
Yeah, yeah, you just heard right. We just heard in this game a 16-year-old literally say, "I'm pretty hot stuff myself."
Well, the way she dresses, I wonder if she wants that attention.
Yeah, that's okay.
No.
It's gonna be more apparent also later. But let's just say again, I think.
Hold on.
Since you can't control Sonon directly in this game, what you can do instead is press the L2 button. And you're basically being considered to your volleyball, but basically it means they'll do exactly the same thing you do.
Yeah. Also, you're hearing right, they brought back the same singer that did the heavy metal Chocobo theme from 13-2 because Masashi Yamazo had already worked with him. If you don't remember, I forgot his name exactly, but this is the guy who normally sings the lyrics for every major Devil May Cry song after the DMC3.
I'm guessing it works better here because it's not a remix.
It's also, well, you have to remember, Dwibs, 13-2 also had an original track called Limit Break, which also features these guys singing, but it just doesn't fit there. Here, I get it fits more the character of Sonon.
See, the thing is, there's Masashi Yamazu's thing is that when it comes to his Final Fantasy soundtracks tend to be very experimental, sometimes to horrible detriment, like in 13-2, sometimes fortunately, sometimes for the better, like with this game.
Again, he's at his best when he's actually ripping off John Williams and Danielle one, essentially.
And like we mentioned, even some of the tracks in the remake weren't all hits. Most of them were, some not as much. Again, adding to the experimental nature.
So basically, Pedro, you're saying that Masashi Yamazu is the Eric Serra of Final Fantasy music?
Sure, I guess you can put it that way, why not?
Hey, at least you try.
You're gonna eat those hurts, you smug piece of shit. Boss, you're not gonna believe this. The hottie of the century just fell.
Also, hi, Robbie Damon.
Yeah, I wonder who he's talking about.
Junk in the trunk and down for a bumpy ride.
Those movements.
Sorry, ladies, but after careful consideration, we've decided to go with a more qualified. Let's go.
Wow. I think
I get the idea Yuffie's generally disappointed she wasn't picked.
Yeah, actually, you were gonna say something about Yuffie too?
All the TIFF fans right now are incredibly happy.
Yeah, okay. One thing that is present since the first outbreak in Paraculture is kept in this game. For some reason, Nomura drew Yuffie's standard outfit with her actual pants pants buttons unbuttoned.
Oh yeah.
I don't get it.
They kept that for the remake as well.
I guess it for a stretch is the fact represents her spunky attitude, carefree, not wanting to abide by the rules. But it's still fucking weird.
It's almost like she wants attention, even though she's supposed to be a ninja.
To be fair too, it's not like this is a Riku from Final Fantasy X situation.
Kind of is.
Even if you like, well, okay, in what way?
Well, Yuffie dresses very provocatively, and like, isn't Riku at least older?
That's what happens if you don't
Okay. I personally don't mind her outfit, but even then, Jova, at the very least, last I checked, this game is not constantly zooming in on her ass.
Well, to be
Well,
fair,
that story
to be
has
fair,
the action cutscenes.
also
Yeah.
Pedro, to be fair, it's not like.
Who are you?
And to be fair, Pedro, it's not like it's not like it's focused strictly on just her. It does it to everyone in that game except for Lulu.
Anyway, welcome to the character with the best name ever, in that it fits his character and describes him all in one word: counterfeiter.
Try it. You'll love it.
Well,
Yuffie, you're gonna break everyone with this. Yeah.
Well, look at it this way, Dwibs. That way, he can have an anonymous identity and never be caught. It's the perfect plan.
Enjoy your material.
Yeah, well, now everyone knows his name.
We're coming.
Not yet, boss. With things the way they are, we can't just
Yeah.
go strolling up to the
Remember, after the events of the Reactor 5, Shinra is on maximum security.
By the way, boss, I've heard that there's this big set of stairs. We could try those.
No.
Oh come on, they're just stairs. How bad could it be?
But,
wait, wait, hold on.
You know, guys, I may be a big bundling ball of energy, but I'm not. But my energy isn't infinite. I do need to sleep.
Honestly,
Especially
that
when
could have
she's on
fooled
an
me.
airship.
Honestly, that could have fooled me. You haven't slept a wink since you first got here.
How
Okay.
can anyone sleep here?
But let me
It's
clarify
it's
also
a
one thing
shithole.
that I also mentioned in some of my previous parts, actually. Aside from the thing of the button that I just mentioned, this, as far as outfits for Yuffie that go by, this is still the best one, because honestly, all the outfits done for the character after the original game just look wrong for different reasons.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
when children suffers from the very dreary and funeral way most of the costumes in that fucking movie do have, Digital Cerberus just, I don't even get what was the thought process behind that one.
Purple.
And Kingdom Hearts is the one that gets the closest to this, but it's just still not working.
It's weird, honestly. It's almost like they're trying to dress her more like Riku in Kingdom Hearts, ironically. That said. I still like Yuffie's traditional outfit. It's fine. I mean, it's a weird mentality to go with, especially given how she is pointed out to be the youngest one.
What?
Yeah, I remember messages.
I mean, honestly, I never really in this remake. Honestly, even in the compilation, I don't remember at any point.
Change of plans?
Yuffie, Yuffie, like them trying to do Yuffie fan service through camera shots and stuff. Where was there?
No.
Wait, no.
Not really on that. The closest you get, if you remember, she's actually one of the options that Cloud can actually date at the Gold Saucer.
Well, true, but that's more so like if you actively go for it.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean.
I'm a rare bloom.
More like
Well, I guess.
Ooh, I'm so gonna use that.
That said, though, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, Yuffie,
Sorry.
Yuffie, the great ninja can barely keep up with someone who isn't a ninja.
Hey, I'm talking to you. Answer me. Well, look, a Moogle.
Really?
Shinra's gone, everybody.
You two go after Gigia. I'll head back and tell the others what happened.
that way.
Dwibs, is this the ending of chapter 1?
Best to stock up before.
Do you have any idea what Gigia
Not
actually
quite.
Oh yeah, right. The factory, you're right. Never mind.
Well, now I
Well, question, Java. Just to make sure if you're really like if you follow to the letter, just so I know where you stand. Okay, let's say for this. I'll put you this hypothetical scenario. A 19-year-old teenager, well, adult, a 19-year-old dating, an 18-year-old dating a 17-year-old. Would you also say that's also a problem, even though if it's just like 1 year?
Nah.
Shit. Got nowhere to run. Tell us what you know. Now! How about later? I'm not stupid.
The guy with the guy we're going to meet up with is in a bit of a bind.
Because he's kind of an idiot.
After him!
Oh, talk about fast. Is he one of us?
We don't have time to get into that.
Yeah.
boss. You can ask him yourself once he's safe. Come on.
Yeah, come on, go. There you go.
Speaking of that,
First, let me check my...
Yeah, sorry, wait a second, gotta check my equipment.
It is kind of weird that they don't allow you to switch to direct control of Sonon during battle.
I'm guessing it's because, remember, Jova, like we've already said, he's gonna die at the end of this. So
This was just a character done hastily for this particular DLC, so they did not put much effort, I guess. But
well, that's
okay,
just that,
okay.
Technically, from a development resources standpoint, it wouldn't really benefit them in the long run because remember, creating an entire new playstyle for him, like we did for all the other characters, would be probably a bit, like too much for a character that only lasts like 3 hours.
Honestly, I don't think they would have had to though. He could have easily have shared a playstyle moveset with a character like Sid, who pretty much also handles a lance.
Well, I got to agree.
well, this is a different one altogether. But yes, Dwibs.
I have to agree with the others though, considering how short a time he has in the grand scheme of things in the story. I think just having him be, I think creating an entirely new gameplay style for him with a sort of time he has is going to be kind of pointless.
I love how
That
we
being
can pretty
said-
much agree that him dying is not even really a spoiler.
That's the thing, Jova. Again,
the trailers kind of gave it away.
the trailers again telegraph this. It's all about the execution, though. But anyway, to compensate that, like Dwibs also mentioned from the tutorial, the whole gist is about also creating particular combos and taking advantage of also Sonon's synergy with Yuffie in order to perform decent type of combined attack. And Toriyama and the others did mention that they're taking this into consideration for part 2. So expect a lot of combined attacks between Cloud and the others.
That reminds me,
basically a testing ground for this mechanic.
Theo, if I may ask you,
Yeah.
we've already gone over the controversies with, stuff like this or certain other things like last year that were infamous for touting themselves as remakes but in turn turned out to be sequels. Now, okay, we've talked about the controversy of lying stuff, but what do you think would be the best solution to try and avert this sort of stuff? Like, I mean, aside
Okay,
from
you gotta be a bit more specific.
Okay, say you were in the predicament that Square were in when they were advertising this quote-unquote remake, but in reality it turned out to be a sequel. Do you, have any ideas for how they could have advertised it better to maybe try and avoid the controversy of effectively, having to lie to newcomers?
Strictly on that front, not really, Jova, because like I said, I get the idea that they actually knew that if they were completely and utterly honest, a lot of people would have lost interest about it. I'm not saying they what they necessarily did in terms of, does indeed constitute immediately for false advertising, because they did not. They technically did not, state that it was not going to be the case. They literally just withheld information about it. And yes, you can still say that it's a dick move, but not to the extreme of having actual false advertising.
I wouldn't call it. Okay. It's not a pure form of false advertising, but let's call it a subset of that, in the sense where, it's not of the malicious brand. But still,
how are you doing that?
Okay, yeah, I don't understand how that happened either. Like, is that current to the air?
I think it's one of those pipes that has, those pieces that you can ride up and down, sort of similar to, the bat holes in the Adam West Batman series.
It's this thing where, see, here's the thing, when you take a look at...
I love the shit, the guy's like, wait, what's going on? And then they die.
Let me put it this way, the reason something like this game and Metal Gear Solid 2 are not full false advertising because technically everything that you see in the marketing shows up in the final product. Like for example, Metal Gear Solid 2. Yes, you only see the opening chapter that has Snake in it, but technically that chapter is in the game. It's the opening chapter. So technically the trailer didn't show anything false. They
mind you. I'm not talking about the trailers. I'm talking about more so the entire advertising process.
Joe's question was about.
Hold on, Dwibs. Let's see you finish.
No, the question would be Java posed would be about what could I change potentially for the marketing to make to still be a bit more honest, and yet managing to maintain the appeal. Honestly, I don't know much because, like I said, I'm not entirely keen on the mechanic they put on either myself. I still want to know where it's going on the long run and how much you want to do, especially because in recent interviews the team is constantly, still to this day, contradicting each other because in recent interviews, one. I forgot if it was Toriyama or someone else. Did say that they want to still stay as closer to it to the original, but on the other side, on another one said expect big changes.
One thing I want to mention right now, since you were talking about how experimental Hamazu can be at times. I'm not really a huge fan of this musical track, if I'm honest.
Like I said,
okay,
not
I can tell you this,
Dwibs.
This is more akin to something like, say, that you could hear in 13.2, where it's more like ambient noise in terms of soundtrack, which is used mostly for like a level theme.
There's a reason I made the Eric Serra comparison earlier. It's like a score for GoldenEye. Sometimes it works out fine, other times it's a mess.
So that's the thing, that in that case I can tell you exactly, because the 13.2 soundtrack is basically 90% just like this.
Sometimes it's even worse because some of these ambient noises actually have vocal themes on top of them.
Which is, again, it's such a weird departure from how 13 soundtrack goes. And I get it, they're technically different games.
The soundtrack of the first 14 tries to go for the more epic, grandiose. So thanks, Yuffie.
I guess Yuffie's back is just fine after that.
She landed on her ass. It's more like, again, the
Some
first
ninja you are! Sorry, go on to you.
Tends to be either more technological or still epic in order to reflect more situational. Only occasionally you have like a more comedic type of, more relaxed type of theme. Like, say, the Archetype Step. Yes, Pedro?
And a mini boss battle, kind of.
Oh, we do. A new enemy type again.
Especially if hard mode.
I think
say.
I get the feeling like this soundtrack would have been better for the earlier phases of the fight, but to have it go on throughout the entire fight...
I get what we're going for. Again, Yuffie is all about them energy and, sparkiness, so even a more jazzy, upbeat type of theming for this fits more, especially because this is a chase sequence where it's happening, you're still constantly following ZJ. That is also followed by the guards, and you're being on the tail, so you have to keep the momentum going. It's just that
it doesn't fit it's not
something that, let me put it like this, I have a lot of tracks from this game on my MP list, I wouldn't put this one on them. That's simply put.
Yeah, this is why back before we even knew Hamazu was doing it, like my ideal choice for scoring this remake was always Takahiro Ishimoto. Not so much the Hamazu.
Okay, from what I've seen, there are several different composers involved in this remake. Nobuo Uematsu himself being involved with some tracks.
Remember, Joe, only
like I've mentioned to you, the actual soundtrack listing does actually list him on some of these tracks as well. I have a lot of these songs on my player. He's not involved in all of them, but he is involved in a lot.
No one is around to hear us say that.
But on the topic of marketing thing, it also harkens back to... Oh wait, hold on, cutscene. Again, Yuffie, you're kind of a sucky ninja.
For being so only suffering.
God damn it, boss.
but yeah, also another thing that we sort of see Joa did mention it before, and I wanted to also say that again, Sonon's weapon style is more of a traditional baton rather than a spear, which is drastically different on what Sid uses, even used in the original game, since it was much more based on the crest of the dragoon.
Mind you, I'm not too broken about it, you know, like, well, not getting to play as Sonon. It's just that I do wonder if we could have, but you know, given that this is sort of a snippet of gameplay anyway.
Again, also keep in mind, apparently this entire DLC was only pitched to be Yuffie later on. Originally some ideas were thrown in to be about Vincent and what he was doing at the time, but they thought that the idea of integrating, with the name, Yuffie into the story of part 1 would have fit better, and I do agree on that.
Like I said, it sort of
works better on that way.
It also fits in with the original idea that they had for 7, where she was going to be around as early as Midgar.
One thing I should explain. These laddery wall things we've been climbing around on. Now we're at the bit where we have to put them in different ways.
Yes.
And as we established also in the vanilla game, Dwibs is very good at this puzzle solving.
Boss, why did you unfold this thing again?
Because I wanted to make sure you're paying attention.
Well, I am boss, no need to... Let's just go.
But yeah, back to the topic of... Oh, hello.
Do you want me to do this, boss?
He doesn't have a ranged weapon.
I'm good.
Wow, Yuffie is the boss. Now I know we're doomed.
Well, remember, Joe, but she is the...
Now to make sure the enemy can't follow us.
Oh, I'm sure the Shinra soldiers love to just be like monkeys.
Well, remember, Joe, but she's she's kind of the princess of Wutaian, so yeah.
Pretty much.
Technically, yeah, she is his boss.
Well, yeah, I know.
You know I don't like the whole custom of my town, you know, right?
Well, true.
Which is funny, aren't you all about trying to restore your town to its former glory, so shouldn't you actually care for the custom?
Yes, former glory, not the current quote-unquote glory it has.
Well, that's the thing, you being the princess is technically part of the old glory.
Of course, so she desires more.
So you're a Disney princess, got it. Fitting enough, seeing as how you're in Kingdom Hearts.
Well,
you'll find out soon, girl, after a bit of a costume change. And a boy who hallucinates you looking like his girlfriend. Oh, you have no idea. Also, Yuffie, don't spaz out there, please.
I wasn't spazzing, I was, bouncing.
Yes, bouncing hyperactively at a frame rate of which would be mesmerizing to the human eye.
Well, knowledge will make people throw up if they watch it in the wrong context.
You were taking the same drugs that the makers of Fate Carnival Phantasm were taking, didn't you?
Is that another Fate series game?
Yes and no. Carnival Phantasm is probably the most fun thing to come out of Fate. In the sense that, like, well, you can tell it's
Come on, Jova, are you excluding the hilarious anime spin-off where they just cooking stuff?
Alright,
oh god, what's that one called again?
I don't know. Yes, Pedro?
Boss, shouldn't we be using some synergized attacks to cause maximum damage?
Nah, we're fine.
But basically, everybody, here's a tip for this DLC. Synergized Windstorm. Synergized Windstorm is one of the best attacks that will allow you to do a lot of damage quickly on enemies and bosses.
Now that is all damage.
But yeah, back to the talk about marketing here. A bit of a similar case was Higurashi Go, where essentially everyone was led to believe that was going to be a remake. Now, the first episode played through even ended with the theme from the original anime. So everyone thought it was going to be a remake. And then episode 2 happened.
Okay, I have to say, Jova, Higurashi has a more terrain advantage with that, because
I was actually about to get
it's all
that.
all about cycles and, you know, repetition of events, so you can allow some bit of trickery.
Oh, yes, but, and you know what, to be fair, Ryukushi is a guy who's famous for kind of lying during his interviews. So I'd say with something like Higurashi, and don't get me wrong, people were still... There are a lot of people apparently pissed off with Go not being a remake, but actually a full-fledged sequel, and some people constantly trying to tell them this or that. But regardless, I do acknowledge that maybe they could have handled things a bit differently with Go, because Go was something where it's a whole anime, so as soon as the second episode started to give the suggestion that it's not going to be a remake, you know, some people started to get a bit iffy on it. Like, well, a video game, that's one thing, you know, it's like one and done, pretty much, but with an anime, that's something you're wanting to sit through. Now, obviously, the easy solution could be to just look at the older anime or play the old visual novels and whatnot to get prepared for Gao, but given how much of a process that can be, I can get why some people who, you know, were trying to keep up with Gao in the present may have been a bit annoyed.
Go.
Go. Now, again, Gao is a bit of a different case from the Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'd say. That's what the subtitles are for, Yuffie.
Yeah, even Sonon is thinking that Barrett's group is the best one we should stick with because normal Avalanche. Not even kidding, again, before Crisis does show... Remember, before Crisis is entirely a game where you're controlling the Turks and you're supposed to be the good guys because now the Avalanche that you fight there are just dead to ruthless. They still have that goal about, you know, purging Shinra and everything, but they are much more dickish in their nature and they legitimately have bad guys in their team.
I love how the Gorges were so polite. Let us finish that conversation before we begin the attack.
Up here.
Remember, being Sonon is suffering.
Yes. But don't worry, I'm sure Sonon will totally come out of this alive with flying colors.
Absolutely.
But, Tio, okay.
Yeah?
Before I continue, how familiar are you with the situation regarding Gao?
Okay, I know some of the, not twisted, but, you know, particular plot point, and I have already my theory about what exactly is going on, so...
But, okay, at the very least, you know about the whole, oh, they insisted it was going to be a remake, but it turned out to be a sequel.
That I definitely know, in case you need to know.
Yeah, okay, whereas with the VII Remake, I feel like there was always some more room for this to be a sequel. It's just like, well, it's hard to gauge which blindsided people more. Like, you could argue Gao, definitely, because they swore up and down that was going to be a remake, and then, surprise, it ain't a remake. Whereas with the VII Remake, while they didn't swear as much up and down, people more or less... I won't blame people for assuming it was going to be a remake, because Square did not give off any inkling that they were going to do it, and like I said, the creator of Higurashi is a lot more infamous for blatantly lying in some of his interviews, with a point where it's kind of a gimmick of his. Unless he states stuff in red, you are free to doubt it.
Which is also a plot point in Umineko, in case you need to know. But again, like we mentioned somewhere else, there are different creators that are like that. Ed Boon is notorious also for doing that. But in his case, it's more for the funsies. Like, this is also gets lampshaded in Cassie Cage's Fatality MKX, where there's a...
I can't get that materia.
Where there's a fake Twitter screen where Ed Boon is saying, for MKX mind you, has anyone unlocked Fujin yet? Yeah.
I do get the feeling that maybe Higurashi Go got the less backlash overall because...
There's also the fact that Higurashi as a brand and everything is more contained, it has its cult following and everything. Oh, there's the Beanie Boss, I think. Yeah, it's one of the emus actually. New monster, my type.
That's the thing, the previous boss also gives you a manuscript in hard mode. So
just be very
Yuffie, you're not quite.
Again, Yuffie, some ninja you are.
Do not under any circumstances arm those knives. Jesus Christ, this thing is rabid. Alright, Sonon is a big move.
Why me?
So, as you can see, Sonon is the straight man to Yuffie's funny man. And
okay.
Why this DLC works so well.
In case you forgot, these particular type of monsters were very common in the early areas in the war map, particularly around the Chocobo farm and everything. They did brought them back for Dirge of Cerberus, but they were more like a footnote in one exterior level, and that was it. But man, this is a mini-boss and he looks absolutely nasty.
Don't you see, Tio? It's a good homage to the fact that Yuffie played a part in Dirge of Cerberus.
Not just that. So, Yuffie, are you actually capable of winning the Eevee Wars on yourself?
Well, maybe she'll need a gunner.
All the Australian... No, as a thing, Java, the guns did not work properly. Apparently all the Australian government needed was ninjas.
Well, Mr. Skiven, are you satisfied with the result of the question?
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Mostly because you didn't actually hurt the mice.
Well, I mean, well, the mice stick was just getting my way a little bit. They didn't try and kill me.
For now.
That's going to be.
Also, Hamazu, I get it that you're very excited, but tone down the saxophone a bit, please.
That's probably good. That's probably going to be a. Oh, I've got a note. Basically, I'm wondering if that's going to be a level in like part 3 of the room, where we have to battle a giant rat. Okay, there's a little bonus. Basically, this part is the bonus round of the level. There's crates all around you. And you use your shuriken to take them out.
Operation Container Carnage. Okay, I'm titling the part like that.
And get as many power-ups and items as you can.
Yeah.
Wow, Yuffie's boomerang shuriken is magical. She can immediately get items by throwing it at things.
That just shows how powerful the are.
This boomerang works on Zelda logic.
Or Captain America shield. It's just perfectly balanced for a sequel, decent throw.
Oh boy, Phoenix
I guess
down.
in this case it would be Captain Shinra, although considering the propaganda machine and everything, it would be a more, they will go straight directly to US agent.
No wait. How about Captain Nibelheim? The true defender of the
No, that's a province, Jova. They need to, at best, Jova, it would have to be Captain Midgard, considering that's the major capital and everything. You also have to remember how the world of FF7 is composed. Officially, the name of the planet is Gaia. I know it's a bit generic, but there are no particular states. Each city is like a small city-state contained on their own. There are no kingdoms of empires. The whole gist of it is that Shinra is the media empire that rules with puppet governments all over the place.
Of course.
There we go.
Again, like I mentioned in the vanilla run, it's very ingenious in how they updated the traditional Final Fantasy program. Oh my god, so many crates! Look at the physics!
It's like this suddenly became a Crash Bandicoot game all of a sudden.
But you still missed one, Dwibs.
Guys, Cloud's mom's ashes should be in one of those boxes. Yeah, it turns out that Cloud's quest to find the box with his mom's ashes in them is futile.
Sonon is very questioning the situation.
Oh, he's just seeing his boss go apeshit on a bunch of boxes. What's not to trust?
Yuffie already found the box with his mom's ashes in it, he just doesn't know it. That's my headcanon. Yuffie seems to be getting into a bunch of accidents.
Oh my god,
she literally has a ninja run.
The Naruto run, oh god.
Yes, Yuffie is raiding Area 51. Why not, at this point?
Might as well, I guess.
She has the age for it.
I don't need to be in Hokage. Whatever that is.
Village leader and all that.
Is that a burrito recipe at Taco Bell? Ha 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 ha.
Now it's your wife.
So, Tio, you follow up with Naruto?
No, you mean with Boruto, the series? Not much.
Did you see Naruto through to the end, the original series as well?
Well, I didn't see it, I just mostly stuck with the manga, as usual. So it was that. Like I said, Kishimoto has ambition, but he's not a great writer, to be honest. Tite Kubo, in comparison, is much more passionate and can handle different characters, but he cannot draw backgrounds for saving his life. As in, not that he draws them bad, he literally forgets sometimes.
Alright, we're gonna end it here for the time being. But join us next time when we continue on our search for Shinji. But before we go, anything you guys want to finish off?
Nope.
No, I think we're good.
But to answer, actually, I didn't actually provide a big answer to your question, Joe, about the marketing. I honestly don't know what I would do with it, especially because I do agree that I will have to, keep an interest going without spoiling too much. And the trailer did showcase a bit of the Arbiters of Time, without saying too much. Maybe dropping a couple of lines to saying, "Oh, nothing will be the same anymore." Like there's something that you have never seen up until this point. Something more like that, I guess. But then again, I'm not a trailer creator on my own, and I know there's like an art, for lack of a better term, on doing these kind of things. So who knows?
Perhaps.
All right. See you in the next part then.
See ya.